that's connected. And then we can jump into it. Oh, okay. Hold on, April. I'm going to co-host you right now. Okay, everybody. So the agenda for today, we're going to play a quick video for you and then open it up for Q&A. And any and all questions that you have are totally good to go. Love to answer any and all of them for you. There's also a chat. If this is sort of your first Zoom session, there's a chat at the bottom, and that'll pop out a box. I can see Esden's figured it out. Just give me a good morning. Hi, Maria. How you doing? And you can throw your questions in there, and I'll get into those questions too. And then we can go from there. I'm really looking forward to it, and thanks for everybody joining us on a Wednesday morning / midday. Okay, April, you can go ahead and start it, and then we'll get into the questions after.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's session. My name's Taylor. I'm on the marketing team at Art Storefronts, one of the people putting together our many resources and consulting and mentoring our members on a regular basis in workshops like these. Today's session is for non-members, so this is a free, wide-open session, and how it's a little bit different than what you get as a member. Our member workshops, which we hold 5 times a week at this point on various topics, are largely tactical, right? So it's giving our members ongoing advice, tweaks to their strategy, checking in with them, seeing how far they've gotten since we last spoke, and making sure their business is always growing. By contrast, today will be largely about what we call unclogging the drain. Before you're even ready for tactical or strategic advice, you need to get the big thing out of the way. And we found through these non-member workshops that most artists and photographers out there have something. They have a big thing in their way. It can be a mindset problem, some kind of self-limiting belief that if you just simply do away with it, the path becomes clear. Or it could be something more practical, like not doing something that you really need to be doing. Whatever it is, we're gonna find out about it today and fix it for you. Before we get into all that good stuff, I have 2 segments for you up top here, opening remarks. The first one, stuff you need to know about this workshop, how it works. The second, a little bit of an overview on Art Storefronts, just to get some context, set the stage, who we are and what we do. First up, the need to know information about today's workshop. To get in line to chat with us, right? To get unmuted and start to get some help, you need to use the raise hand button in Zoom. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the participants button. You're gonna hit that, and that'll open this on the right-hand side, where you'll find the blue raise hand button. You hit that, and that will do it, raise hand. You'll see up here, your name will show the blue raise hand button. That's the system we use. We go top to bottom, unmuting everyone that has their hand raised and helping them out. So if you have a question up front, you want to talk to us, you can do that right now and get early in line, so you'll be one of the first people to get some help today. If something comes up later and you don't have a question yet, but something comes to mind, you can always do it later in the session too. The second thing you need to know is that we have a page that we call the show notes, and that's where we aggregate all of the links to resources that come up today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're gonna send this to you after today's session ends. We're gonna email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right, so if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is Art Storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are two halves to art storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on art storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art. But I want to show you the wall art product page because there's an important thing to get straight here. These pages are set up specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything, which creates a master of none situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work, you get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts, you save up for it, eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color, how's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or of course too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions, your website does not answer them, and they never get it answered, they leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go, got the help for you right here, problem solved, keep going, keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you could step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, G-clay print, metal, acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need, right? So let's step it up, the 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space, and now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever, it is their real actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy, and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more. But that is the engine, the Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefronts website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members-only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit-by-bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home, and our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
Yeah, so on that note, let me kind of give you a brief intro. Now, we say that there's 5 pillars, really, of an art business, and really, like, ultimately what we're aiming for, what we like, is we want our customers to be on the path towards a 6-figure-a-year plus business. We sort of arrived at that 6 figures a year. It's a good target. You know, it's more than double what the national average is for a solo entrepreneur, small business in the U.S. today. And it's really where everyone wants to go, right? Now, you know, do we have customers that are over this? Yes, we do. Is it the vast majority of them? No, it's not. It's somewhat of an aspirational number, but there is a path towards a business of that size, and that's what we teach. That's what we articulate. That's what we get our customers on. And we believe, to be honest with you, that right now, this moment in time, there has never been a better time as an artist, as a photographer, as a creator to get there. And why is that? You know, technology and disruption and all the rest of the buzzwords, or adoption, if you like, it has its own timeline, right? And we believe that whereas maybe it was 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 years down the road, that it would have been the greatest time ever to be an artist, photographer, selling, it's been accelerated by this pandemic. This pandemic has taken trends that would have taken 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 years and just truncated it down into like 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 months. It's been bananas. And so we think this path of getting to a 6-figure-a-year plus business as a solo artist, photographer, creator, never been a better time. So let's talk about the 5 pillars of an art business, or you could even say just presentation here. But number 1, we call unclog the drain. And having talked to all these artists and photographers over all these years, we find that before we can even get into the other 4 pillars, we have to get your drain unclogged before they can even flow through. And what is the drain clog? Call them self-limiting beliefs. Call them complete nonsense that someone out there in the market is put in your head. You know, my business will be successful when, and insert thing here that's preventing you from doing that. That perfection that runs endemic in artist and photographer society. Like, you know, I just got to get it. I just got to get it perfect and just get my website perfect. The days turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years. You take a look back. No constructive steps, or very few, have actually been made in the art business, right? And so we find on these calls that the primary thing that we need to do is get whatever is stuck in your drain out. I'll just get started when I get all my pieces photographed. My niche is different. I just need high net worth individuals. I'm just looking for that high net worth list. There's some sort of website out there that you can magically upload all your images to and not do anything else, and you're going to have a 6-figure-a-year business, right? There's all of these various different things that are stuck in the drain. Once we get into the Q&A, we'll find the majority of the conversation will probably start there. That's number 1. Number 2, you have to understand the business model. It is DTC or die in today's day and age. What do I mean? Direct to consumer.
no middleman, no other hands in your pocket. You have to create and sell directly to the consumer. That's the way the market's going. You need to own the data on your customers. You need to be building your own email list. You need to be marketing regularly, and you can't have any other middlemen in the picture, or stated another way, you can't have anyone else setting the rules, right? Because what happens in a situation like this, i.e. the pandemic, i.e. all offline sources are pretty much croaked, i.e. your galleries are embargoed and closed. Someone else is setting the rules to your business in that situation. That is an untenable situation to be in. It is DTC or die. We'll get into that. Number 3, the secret to effective marketing. Okay. This is something that all of you need to understand if you want a 6-figure a year plus business. And I can't even believe I'm going to tell you. They've told me not to tell you. I'm going to tell you. There is no damn secret. There never has been a secret. It's 2 things. 1, focusing whatever time, energy, and effort you have on the highest leverage marketing opportunities that exist today. Not chasing shiny objects, not trying some new things for a couple of weeks. Let me just dip the toe in here. No. Focused on what actually works. We teach you this, we tell you this, we have data. No one can call BS on me on this one. I've seen it all. We know what the highest leverage ROI, return on investment, time, effort, treasure of yours are. That's number 1. Number 2 is just doing it consistently. It's doing it consistently all year long. So many artists, so many photographers, they get fired up, they get hot and bothered, they start in on some sort of marketing effort, whether it's the highest ROI or not, they do it for a couple of months, they're like, where the heck are my results? And they quit. The consistency is so, so important. That's the secret to marketing. That's it. High ROI marketing activities, consistency, okay? Number 4, the inputs, what we like to call the inputs. And, there's variations of this, like, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? I love that. Put another way, let's put it in this way in today's day and age. You don't realize how powerful this one is until take the next 2 weeks and shut the news off completely out of your life. No print journalism, no TV journalism, no radio. What you'll find after those 2 weeks, and you run that little experiment, is all of a sudden you're in a better mood, you're a happier person, you love your neighbors, you love your country, and everything just feels great. When you have these incorrect inputs, these things that are telling you you're a horrible person and your country sucks and the whole world's falling apart all the time, it has an effect on you, right? In the art business, the inputs are, it tends to be all of these charlatans, quacks. They're selling vials of this, that, and the other off the back of a wagon, right? Like, you got to go do this. You got to go do that. Don't do that. That's a terrible way to do it. There's some marketplace over here. All of these inputs somehow get into artists and photographers' heads. And almost exclusively, they're all coming from people that have no success, that have sold no art online, that do not have a 100K year plus business. And so if you understand that and you're able to sort of audit your inputs and ensure that they are the right inputs, people that are actually seeing success, the marketing techniques and tactics that are actually working, that are backed up by data. If you get the nonsense inputs out, you're in a much better place and you're going to be on the path, you're going to be in the right direction. And the 5th is just perspective, the perspective of how long it takes. And, go ahead, I'll unmute everybody. Let me know the artist or photographer that working on their business for 3 months has a 6-figure year business. I'll wait. Right? Like, it doesn't work that way. It takes 3 to 5 years, okay, of grinding to build anything of value. And especially if this is your first time pivoting to a DTC, direct to consumer business model, where you own all the contacts, you do all the marketing. So those are the 5 pillars of sort of what we define as a successful art business, what we advocate that all artists and photographers get onto this path, and all of our customers are on it currently, and they're on their way up. So that's what we do. That defines it. Nick, over to you, and you can take it.
So weird seeing yourself on video like that. All right. Well, thanks for sticking it out through the videos, guys. That's pretty much the best, most succinct, most efficient way we can kind of explain, who we are and what we do. So at this point, want to turn it over to questions again. It can be anything. It can be, the one thing that you're stuck on in your business that you think's preventing you from taking the next step, from seeing the level of success that you want. It could be technical related questions about the software, about the marketing, about anything else. And you can leave the question in the chat, or you can raise your hand. And I see Elzon's got her hand up, or his hand up first. So we'll start on his question in just a sec. And okay, it's a she. I couldn't tell. I couldn't see it. So you're up first. I want to rant for a second on one thing. So one of the things that we've been banging the drum on so hard is this live art show concept, right? And I firmly believe, and to give context, we got way into live video as a business, Art Storefronts, probably a month and a half, 2 months ahead of the pandemic. Since the pandemic, been going live like 5, 6, 7 days a week sometimes. I mean, hundreds of live sessions. So I've had my fingernails in the dirt on it, right? I'm not saying this hypothetically. And it's so wild because I'm on all these email lists and I'm starting to see it's turning, right? All of the shows and all of the fairs that have been canceled that so many people have been going to are all trying to sell you on a virtual art show now, right? You know, we're going to do a virtual show. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. And I'm totally encouraging of that idea. It's the right way to go. It is absolutely the future. But I'm also really encouraged in the sense that we've already been at it hardcore for 5 months and know all the tricks, and there is no shortcut to learning the tricks, you guys. There is so much tradecraft that goes into it, but it's the future. It is absolutely the future of selling art and photography online. It's going to completely change this industry more than it's seen in the past 15 years in terms of how you can sell directly to consumers, maintain all the data, not pay a 50-50, 60-40, 70-30 split with a gallery for whatever reason, not load your car up, schlep to some fair, stand on your feet for 8 hours, eat crappy food, stay in a hotel, then drive home exhausted, right? So I'm blown away by seeing it, and I can't wait to get into it further. So, okay, done with my rant. That's it. I'm going to start unmuting you. Elzon, you're up first. Did I get the name right? And you'll probably have to unmute yourself down at the bottom of your Zoom. Yep, good.
Yeah. Hi, Patrick. Hi.
Hey.
Yes, you got the name right.
Oh, good.
I found the podcast a couple of months ago, started listening, loved it, wanted to request a demo, and then to my shock and horror, saw that it's not available to people outside of the United States at this point. So my question is just when, like, is it ever going to be available to, artists outside the States? And if not, is there any other way of accessing some of the services? Yeah.
Love that. Great question. So it's all centered around the support and being able to deliver, like, Four Seasons style white glove. You can get support at any point in time and get a call back and everything else. And we've actually started expanding our team significantly to include like international support agents that are available at all these crazy hours. So you actually can join. You can join now. What country are you in?
I'm in Thailand.
You're in Thailand. Awesome. Yeah, so yours is like the most difficult time zone of all time zones because
Yes.
you're the other side of the world. But yeah, you can request a demo, and I'll put a note in there to call you back. Obviously your English is on point. That's not going to be an issue, and we'll still support you. Where just out of curiosity, where are the majority of your sales now? Are you selling directly into the U.S.? Are you selling in Thailand? Like how's that all going down?
It's been, let's say, 70-80% South Africa, where I'm from, and then the rest Europe. Yeah.
Interesting, super interesting. And so how are you handling the shipping on all that?
So I have an agency in Cape Town that manage everything. So all my prints are printed from Cape Town, and then it ships from there. And at the moment, it's working pretty well because I don't have to manage any of that. So the system is working quite smoothly. But I would like to kind of dip my toes in the American market, especially because I can't rely on South African economy and stuff at the moment. It's
yeah. Isn't it an amazing time we live in though? You can be in Thailand, creating your art in Thailand, uploading it, selling it in South Africa, selling it in Europe, and stay in Thailand. I love Thai food. I love it. Thailand's a killer place. Deeply karmic people too. Not for nothing, but when you take like 4 or 5 cab rides at weird hours of the night because you might have been having a few drinks and celebrating, and they all cost the same amount of money when they could have totally taken advantage of me. It's the little things. I like karmic people. I really do. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good life.
Put one in, and then April on the call, will you just tell sales Patrick said she must be called back? And you got my word.
Thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome. Easy question. And thanks for listening to the podcast. I appreciate it. Okay, next up is Christy Coons. Christy, go ahead. You'll probably have to unmute yourself down. Yep. I'll let you know when you get it. It's the microphone button, bottom left-hand corner. Are you there, Christy? Uh-oh, she dropped away. So I don't know where Christy went. I'm getting some questions on YouTube. It says, to get started, what's the monthly fee for the bottom tier? Yeah, it starts at, I think, $1,000 down and $44 a month. Okay, Christy, it looks like you're back. And again, okay, now we got you.
I was on the wrong screen. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay. Anyway, I'm wondering what is the marketing budget we should be setting up for ourselves if we've got the basic package?
Great question. Love this question. So to start out with, it's extremely minimal. One of the things that we do to encourage people to get started, get the ball rolling, especially because if they haven't engaged in a ton of marketing, centers around print giveaways, or original giveaways if that's circumstantial to you, not obviously if they're really expensive. But everybody thinks that, okay, what's the marketing budget? You know, I'm trying to budget in my head what I need to pay for your service, and then, you know, inevitably this always goes to like Facebook or Instagram ads. And I've got sort of an analogy that covers it. I can do it a couple of different ways. But in order to be able to actually spend money on your marketing, and specifically let's talk about like as it pertains to paid traffic, so advertising on Facebook ad, you need to be able to do 100 push-ups. You need to be able to do 100 push-ups in one sitting. And obviously that's not literal. But the point is that you can't get started and you hit the ground and you can only do 4 and then think you're going to make money on the paid traffic. It doesn't work that way. And so what is the 100 push-ups? You need to have your website set up correctly. You need to be capturing emails. You need to be sending emails on a regular basis. You need to be posting to the socials on a regular basis. You need to be going live on Facebook and Instagram. You need to be having a sale when it's the right time to have a sale, and understand all the mechanics, how to do the emails to do for that, how to do the social posting, how to follow up, how to do the hand-to-hand combat, which is directly interacting with your prospective buyers. If you can't do the 100 push-ups and you're like, you know, I'm not going to build up that marketing system, I'm not going to do it, and you think you can go on to Facebook and Instagram and boost a couple of posts, or maybe even you have like a decent sophistication in those ads, you might as well walk into Vegas and do your preferred game with the money. You can play baccarat, craps, blackjack, or the slot machines. You're going to light that money on fire. It is extremely difficult to make it work with paid traffic until you can do those 100 push-ups. So once you come on board, we have some things that are pretty easy to engage in. You start building up those marketing muscles, and then at that point in time, we have the systems that show you how to do those things. But you really, it's just doing some legwork early on. It's extremely minimal in terms of cost.
Okay, but when you say minimal, how much is that?
It depends on what type of print giveaways you want to do. Normally for paper prints, it's like $30 or $40 a giveaway. And, you know, we'd encourage you to do one right when your website launches. And then we have a couple more tricks up our sleeves for the first couple of months, but you're talking less than $100 a month. Depending on the level of success. Some of our customers go nuts with it. Others,
I'm just trying to get an idea here.
For sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Great question. That was the push-up analogy instead of the fishing analogy, which I normally give. Also like the fishing analogy. But yeah, any other questions, guys? Love to hear what you're working on, what you're stuck on. What's the number one thing that's preventing you from taking the next step, which is usually where we go with all of this. Yeah, wild times that we live in. This pandemic seems to stay on. The number of galleries that are closing, the offline revenue sources, it is equal parts terrifying, equal parts so incredibly encouraging. I mean, the reality is that with everybody stuck at home, art and photography sales online has just been windfall is the wrong word, but has been one of the beneficiaries of this pandemic. And we just don't see any signs of it slowing down. Like, people are not going to go back to work anytime soon. Large percentages. They're stuck in their houses. They're stuck with their boring white walls. And it's not just like art and photography, right? It's like the whole home decor segment. You know, it's like trying to order a desk or a webcam or any video streaming equipment, or, you know, everyone's spending money on their backyards instead of vacations and everything else. We think that this Q4 will be, without question, the biggest the art industry has seen in a long time. And it's about setting yourself up such that you're in a position to, I mean, take advantage of it seems like such a weird thing to say, but you know, to be actively marketing and to be able to take orders online when this Q4 comes, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, collectively the holiday buying season is one of the most important things that you could possibly do. So we're really like banging the drum on this early. It's like you're talking about that now, and we're in the middle of summer, and we're all in summer vacation mode. At least want to be mentally, but it's going to be a huge year. Like, you know, we've been in business I think 7 years now, and just traditionally, you know, we have customers that like they're doing like 70-80% of their sales for the entire year in Q4 at the end of the year. So it really sort of punctuates this marketing all year long and then getting ready for this session. Okay, Karen asks, what do you think of selling high-end artwork and merchandise with your artwork from the same website? Yeah, all day. You can sell whatever you want on the website. Like, our website is set up to sell wall art. That's what it's optimized to do. No question about that. But at the end of the day, it's also just a shopping cart like all the rest of the ones out there. So I would absolutely put all that stuff on the website. And especially early on, like, you know, it's a perfect example of one of those things that everyone tends to overthink. Like, well, can I sell all this other stuff? And what if I have these two styles and I think this style will be good, but I don't know if I can include them, or maybe I paint and I do some photography. Can I include those? Absolutely, because only the market can tell you what's going to sell. You get it online, you start marketing, you see where the revenue comes in, and then you can make the decision about whether or not you want to go all in on the one or not, or keep the two of them going. And, you know, especially when you have the high end stuff, I love the high end stuff. There's this phenomenon called price anchoring, right? And the concept of it is when you have the really higher price point items in your store, and then you have lower and medium items, the high price item, even if they never buy it and are never going to buy it, it makes them psychologically feel better about the middle priced items. And as a result, it raises the conversion rate on those middle priced items. And that's like a normal technique. So a lot of times I'll encourage customers, you know, whether it's easier if you're an artist, because you just say, this is an original, you know, it'll never be another one, hand signed, and throw it in your store for like $25,000. Throw it in there. Put it on the price tag, put it in the store, $25,000, because of price anchoring, number one. And because number two, you never know, right? You miss 100% of the shots that you take. Some people are high net worth individuals and they need a certain prestige when they come into your store. Like, cheap prints, not for me. Mid-priced originals, not for me. Ooh, what's that shiny object, right? So always a good idea to do that. I love that. Okay, Abby Gupta asks, I have a question. Would this work for me even if I have a very low social media following, like less than 100 followers on Instagram and Facebook? Yes, it will work for you. It works for everybody. Everybody, you have to start somewhere, right? You have to start somewhere, and you have to start in with the marketing. And that's usually just how it goes, right? Like, you got to get started. It's a chicken and the egg problem early on. We have some really, really creative, hacky stuff that we don't share publicly, but that we teach our customers to do, that kind of gets you over the hump early on and gets the followers building. And, you know, we have customers, it's a mixed bag, but we have some customers that are 3 months in and have 5,000 people on their email list, and they have, you know, over 1,000 on each of the socials. And it's by using this sort of print giveaway hack that we have that works just really, really, really well. So yeah, you can't let that stress you out, Abby. You got to get going. Okay, Karen asks, do you know a platform which will work with whatever merchandising vendor that you want? For example, mugs from one vendor, dresses from another vendor, pillows from another vendor, etc. Yeah, I assume you're asking about the automatic fulfillment. And Karen, maybe I'll just unmute you. I don't know if you have audio ability, but if you want to hit your unmute, you can give me the finer point, and I'll still. Yeah, there we go. I got you. Explain that to me a little bit more succinctly.
I've been trying to do research as far as using different merchants for gift products, or which would have my design on them, or my photography.
Yep.
And what I'm finding is one vendor will have maybe fabrics and apparel, and another vendor might have kitchenware, and it's like not one vendor has everything that I would like to sell. So what I would want is to be able to combine the different vendors into one platform where people can come and order.
Right. Got it. So question number one, how much of that stuff are you selling currently?
None. This is something new that I'm thinking of doing.
Right. So what you do is you go and get all of those items, the screenshots, you know, the little images that you would use to sell them, no matter what website you have. You put them in the store and you see if they start selling. If they start selling, then you have to worry about that as a problem. If they don't, then you didn't waste any time, right? That's how I would approach it. You can do it. One, we're almost integrated with this company called Guten that offers like a whole myriad of those products. We have some customers that are killing it on the masks with their images on it, you know, like the COVID masks. So you put the item in your store, you get the order, and the only disconnect will be is that once the order comes in, you'll have to send it to whoever the vendor is if the vendor doesn't work with us. But I wouldn't overthink it early on. I would say, I'm just going to put all that stuff in my store. Once I start getting the sales, then I can worry about like how to handle, you know, the optimizations. But the problem with that stuff is it's extremely low margin, right? Their purchase prices are not high. The profit per is not high, which means you need to be selling a whole lot of them to make a ton of money, right? So I don't necessarily discourage it. I think there's some interesting ways in which you can leverage it. And like I said, we have some people that are really doing well with the masks right now. We have another gal that does really, really well with the scarves. So it's certainly not unheard of. But at the same time, you know, worrying about the problem before the sales are there is the wrong approach. It's the wrong approach. You know, you put all those items in your store, you get working on your marketing, you see where the sales come in, and then you optimize towards that. That's always got to be the process.
When you say put it in the store, do you mean an art storefront store,
Yeah,
or on
yeah.
my own website and sell through PayPal?
Either or. Like if you were going to join Art Storefronts, then yeah, you'd absolutely put it in your Art Storefront store. But if you're not, then you know, to put it on the site you have now and sell that stuff first, and then worry about the problem. Don't worry about the problem before you sold it, right?
Okay.
That's
Well,
always the right
one
approach
thing
to
that
take.
you mentioned was the masks, and that I've been looking for a wholesaler. Do you know of a place to go to that sells masks wholesale, like print on demand?
What I would do is I would put them on my website, get those orders, and then go find out. And I wouldn't even waste a minute finding it until I got the sales first. But that's just like the entrepreneurial way to do it, right? Like, because you can get
Well,
so
you have
bogged
to know
down.
your base price before you make the sales.
No, you don't. Go and look at someone else's base price. Put the same base price. See if you can sell it. If it sells and it takes off, you are an afternoon's worth of phone calls away from finding someone that can supply those for you. There's millions of vendors out there that are doing that now. My sister-in-law makes bathing suits. She's making them in her garage. She said she's making like my sister-in-law said she's making 2,500 of them a month already. Crazy.
Okay. Well, okay. I've been looking for the vendors, and they vary in prices, and you know, it's hard to know.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
again,
one that I like, I've seen somebody sell some mask for $15, but the vendor's selling it for 20, and I don't know how the person is doing it.
yeah,
So,
they have a different route on it, but again, like, you know, in order to make a bunch of money on those, you're going to need to make a bunch of sales. And so to start out with, like, start making some sales and then ramp it from there. That's how I would approach it.
okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Okay, Maria, you're up next, and then I'll come back to the chat again. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Maria.
I'm not sure if I understand how this works. So basically, it's you're just teachers helping us figure out how to market things, and we can market them on any site that we want, like Etsy or or Facebook, or we can market on whatever. You're just guiding us through it. Is that right?
Right. So we're the website technology to begin with, right? So we host your store for you. And then we teach you how to market all year long, you know, weekly, day in, day out for life. So we're constantly teaching you how to grow the business. And so, you know, your primary home base should be our website. There's a whole bunch of different reasons for that. But if you're selling well on Etsy, I encourage you to continue selling on Etsy. I think we find that that's not the case for most people just because it's such a saturated marketplace, but some people do well with it. I think you muted yourself again, Maria. Let's see if I can unmute you again. It's the little microphone icon in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
okay.
it. You got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So you have a site that basically, however we can draw customers in, whether it's through those other sites, as long as we try to draw them into your site.
You own the website. It's not a marketplace or anything like that. You own the website, mariabeamerart.com, and we host it. We have all the technology there for you. You upload all your images, and you get into the marketing and selling. We handle all the transactions, the shipping, the fulfillment, all the back office stuff, and that's how it goes. No, your thing is just like the automatic muter. It muted you again. Zoom is conspiring against Maria here. I don't know why that's doing that. You might have to try to do the exact same thing you did last time. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I think that's it. So basically, it's a $1,000 join-in fee, and then it's $50 a month. And basically, you hold our hands through, give us, tell us what to do.
Essentially, yes.
We don't know.
Yeah, essentially,
I don't.
Yes. No, it's not just you. It's most, right? And
yeah,
I don't know if you saw the videos up front as we introduced it, but the secret to marketing is literally twofold. It's working on the high ROI activities, read the marketing activities that we know that work because we're good at marketing, number one, and number two, because we have 4,000 customers and we see all the data, right? We know what traffic sources, we know what marketing techniques and tactics that work and the ones that don't. So if you focus on the ones that do, it's just a game of doing it consistently. You do it consistent, it's a game of pressure over time. That's it. If you stay at it consistently all year, year in, year out, and you understand the perspective of how long it takes to get to a 6-figure year business, you're going to be fine. It's just doing the work consistently. In many ways, it's refreshing because there's a whole lot of nonsense and shiny objects that all your friends will be talking about that you just ignore. It won't even come into your mind. You'll just be staying in the lane. We'll tell you if the lane's moving left or right because we'll guide it if we find out something new is working. But other than that, it's just stay in the lane, stay working the process. That's the game. So, yeah. Got it. All right. Thanks, Ray. Abby asks, is the storefront optimized for mobile? And yes, of course, it's optimized for mobile. So you recently did some Facebook ads. I worry about that. Abby. What kind of results did you get? Unless you can do the 100 push-ups. And you said 70 to 80% of the views came from mobile devices. We're at, this is inside baseball a little bit, but we're at, I think at Art Storefronts, 87% of the traffic to our website is now mobile. Is that crazy that you even think? 87% are on a mobile device. The world has changed. Everyone's on their phones all the time. So yes, if your website is not optimized for mobile, you've got problems. Ours are right out of the box, of course, and we're constantly making optimizations to that. So, that's both a lesson just in general. All the traffic that's coming is coming from the socials. Everyone's on their phone. Everyone's on their phone all the time. Which is not to say desktop traffic is not hugely valuable. It converts better still because people more like doing the buying on the desktop. But yeah, it's such a huge part of it. The mobile aspect, such a huge part of it. So yeah, I'm trying to think, did I miss any questions? Social media following. Yeah, I think that about covers it. I don't know. If anyone else has got one, wants to raise a hand. Okay, Christy, it looks like you're back.
All right, I got it right. Good. Okay. Just generally speaking, how long does the process take from signing up and then getting through the marketing portion or getting everything sophisticated enough to attract sales?
Yeah, so we try to get everybody live. We kind of set as like a rule of thumb, 14 days to get the website live. Once the website's live, and we have some pretty white glove support that's there. I mean, anywhere you get stuck, one of the things I'm the proudest about, to be honest with you, because I've been a huge tech nerd my whole life, and there's nothing more frustrated than when you're building a new website and you're learning a new platform that has a cognitive load to it, and then you have a block of time set out to get it done, and then into that 3-hour block of time, in the 20th minute, you get stuck, and then you're in some forum searching. I hate that. That infuriates me. So our process is, our support is just like Johnny on the spot, stand by. You tell them where you get frustrated. You say, I'm pulling my hair out of my head here. They'll get you unstuck right away. So we shoot for we shoot for the 14 days to get live. At that point, because our websites are properly set up, there's very little that you need to do on your website. You get it live and you get into the marketing and you get going. To answer your next question, how long does it take from there? It's different for everybody. It's literally different. Sure. There's no one size fits all. Some come out of the gates, and we do these Zoom calls, kind of like this one, bi-weekly. We call it office hours, and all of our customers come in and we teach whatever we're advising for the week, and then we do Q&A. And sometimes, like, somebody launched in 2 weeks and they're already over like $1,500 in sales, and I'm like, how the hell did you do that? Like, that's amazing. That's and then great. Some struggle for 3 months, but then they get there and then they're kicking butt. So everyone's got kind of like a different path and has like a different niche and different circumstances. So I'd love to be able to give you a one size fits all, but there's
no, I wasn't expecting that, but just generally. All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Oh, now I see the questions are rolling. I like it. Okay. Elzan, you're back on. Go ahead.
Patrick, what happens to my current website when I start working with you guys? So I recently, paid somebody to finish my site and cost me a fortune. My shop is set up. And if I listen to what you guys say is important for the shop, I think I'd say I've got about 85% of that in already. So I've spent a lot of time with the designers, like getting it ready and beautiful and really user friendly. So I'm a bit like, my baby.
Yep.
What
Ooh,
happens?
I know. Oh, that's what I feel for you. The problem is that site, while it's beautiful, while you love it, while you've got hours into it, will not convert like ours will. It's just not even going to be close. We have math and years of this on our side. Sounds a little bit arrogant to say that, but it's just true. So you'd have two options. One, I gotta keep my baby. I gotta keep it. So if it's elzannell.com, you could potentially take your art storefronts install and go store.elzan.nell or shop.elzan.nell and keep your old site. But there's, for as much the front end stuff that you see on the website, you can't believe the back end stuff. The back end stuff is lunacy. We wrote a proprietary cookie, and this cookie is essentially like a tracker, right? It tracks everything that they do on your website. So if you walked into the Apple store, do they have Apple stores in Thailand? I don't know, it's irrelevant. If you walked into the Apple store, they do, and you walked up and you started looking at something, you looked at the iPhone, and then you went and looked at the cases, and then you looked at the iPads, and then you bought an iPhone and you left the store would tell you, Elzan came into your store, she looked at the iPhone, she looked at the iPad, she looked at the cases, but she only bought the iPad, or she only bought the iPhone, and it would instantaneously tell you. And then our system queues up an email for you that says, email Elzan, she might want an iPad and she might want a case. Open up an email directly, and it pre-populates the text, and you click send. So, like, an interesting abstraction that I get all the time, and this is like top 5 troll comments on Facebook or Instagram, okay? Top 5. Why would I need an online website? Or why would I need to be online? Selling art in person is the best way to sell art. Yes, selling art in person is the best way to sell art without question. No question. So the point is yes, selling art online is, this thing reverses my hand. So yes, selling art in person is the best way to sell art. Yes, we need a website because a website never sleeps and can handle 10,000 people at once. And it turns out you only have 24 hours in a day, and the website doesn't need any problem there. So the abstraction is, in between is the sweet spot. Taking the digital experience and making it as close to that in-person selling experience as possible. If you were inside that gallery selling and you saw me walk to those 3 pieces, you would walk right up to me and you talk to me about those 3 pieces. So our website software does that. Go ahead and call your developer back and get a quote on that one, by the way. It wouldn't be pretty. So I understand it's emotional. It's a very emotional decision you would have to make there, letting go of your baby. But what you'll find, just being binary here without any of the feeling baked into it, is you send 100 visitors at our site versus 100 visitors at your site, you're going to close probably double or maybe 3 times the amount if they come to our site. It's just
yeah.
bad. So I know it's hard.
Yeah.
I know it's hard.
No, I mean, definitely, I don't want to be so attached that I can't see past, what I've already spent. Like there might be a bigger possibility coming,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So I'll just have to like get over it, I guess.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're already there. I can see the gears turning. I can see the gears turning. Yeah, your biggest issue is going to just be figuring out, if you're truly shipping internationally in that capacity, you sort of need to have a production studio like you have in South Africa now, handling those orders, and then our system would be able to handle the domestic orders, but it wouldn't know automatically how to route all of those things. I'm getting into the weeds on it, but good problems to have.
Okay.
And I
Yeah, absolutely.
love the international capacity, and I truly believe, like, I've got the one artist, Matthew Locke. He's been like a long time buddy. He's been with us, a customer for a long time, and he ran an online art show, like kind of the ones that we teach, I think a month ago, and he sold to Canada. He's from Canada, all over the United States. 2 pieces to Germany, I think 1 to Mexico, and 1 to Colombia. And it's like, you look at that, it's like you have access now, technology, to the world markets. I mean, you're living it already because you're younger and you understand, and you're an expat in Thailand and, doing the remote thing.
Yeah.
So it's just, the opportunity is just phenomenal, and you're literally only limited to your marketing. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Brilliant. Thank you. Great
Start saying
answer.
goodbye to the baby.
Thanks,
if you come
Patrick.
aboard. I know it's hard. Amzie, you're up next. Got to unmute yourself. Oh, we don't have you yet, Amzie. Yeah, now I got you.
Okay. My question is, when you get set up, do you have to get your own domain and web whatever host, or do you guys do that? And how do you go about doing that? Do you do it on your own and do you refer it? In other words, do you give us direction, or do we say this is what we want and you do it?
Yeah, I think we usually do some pretty serious hand holding. We provide, a subdomain, it'd be amzieadams.artstorefronts.com. So you could potentially not do anything, but that defeats the whole purpose. We want you to own everything. So it should be you owning the domain, amzieadams.com, and then you go to GoDaddy or register.com or wherever it is, and you just point it to the Art Storefronts one, and there it is. It's seamless. But we would help you with all that.
Okay, but you could do it yourself, and then
yeah,
you guys would give us. All right. What about if you do very diverse types of artwork, such as, like, you might do abstraction, you might do realism, you might do colloquial regional stuff, you might do all kinds of different types of artwork, as well as, like you said before, photography. Can you do it under different names if that different, or do you have to use the same name and just say, hey, I just do all this stuff, whatever?
It's the right answer to the question is it's up to you, right? You could do any of the above. How I would answer the question, how I would do it, I would throw all of that stuff in one store, because the hardest thing to do is drive traffic and market. I would see how that store performs. If one particular item is taking off, I would put that front and center, leave the other stuff on there. If the other stuff didn't sell, bit by bit, I would just drop it off, and focus on the other stuff. If it's an 80-20, then, you have your best sellers on the homepage, and then you have this other stuff down there too, and off you go. But in today's day and age, you, and especially you, background, beard, avuncular beard, and awesome hat with the logo, you are the brand as much as anything else is the brand, right? Like the range and scope of your work, Amzie, is probably less important to me than it's an Amzie Adams piece, right? Because look, yeah. So that's how it would go.
That's good.
You have a song for us at the end, by the way?
If you want one. It's still working on it, yeah.
All right. Well, if you keep it short, I want one.
Okay.
all right. We'll circle back. Thank you. Okay, Catherine, you're up next, and then Maria, you're after that. Go ahead, Catherine. You'll need to unmute.
Hi.
Gotcha.
Okay, couple of questions. First, one I've been wanting to ask you for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
But you guys, every quarter or so, you guys send me an email saying, let's set up a conversation. Let's set up for us to give you a call. And we set a time and we set a date, and I never hear from you.
Really? You're
Never.
Are you putting in a demo? Well, number one, once a quarter. I mean,
Yeah, roughly once every 3 or 4 months.
Email, the pace of our email can only be described as obnoxious. We email.
Oh
so
yeah,
much.
I get a lot of stuff from you.
It's
but every
obnoxious.
once in a while I get a personal one saying, do you want to have a chat with us about this?
Yeah.
And let's set up a time. And we do.
And you're just replying
nothing
to the email.
happens.
Yeah, you're probably just replying to the email and then it's just going right into the black hole. I think what you need to do is actually request a demo, and then that puts you in the system.
I think I did. That's why I'm getting these emails.
Okay.
But I get emails from one of you in particular saying, let's have a conversation about this, and then crickets.
Well, I'll tell you what, rather than get caught in the details, Catherine Ann, do you want me to have someone call you?
Yeah, because I'd like to understand stuff.
Done. Done. April, to do for the outreach team, call Catherine Ann Fairthal. And you can see her names here. Is that, and see, April, make sure she's in the system, because otherwise, oh no.
Yeah, it might also be under Flanders. But I do have another question for you,
Sure,
more technical.
Sure. Go ahead.
So it's Fairfall or it's Flanders.
Okay.
Got that?
Yep.
Okay. Exactly. I'm really lost on this website business because I don't understand how it's, I mean, we own it, but it's on your site. Do you set it up?
How could I, it's sort of like, how could I explain it? The URL, okay, is sort of like the deed to a house, right? That means you own the deed to the house. No one can ever take that away from you. So you can decide, that was a terrible analogy because the house is physical, it never moves. You can, but let's just stick with me for the deed analogy for a second. So that's what you own. You own the URL, right? You own CatherineAnn.com. You can point that URL at a site on our platform, on Squarespace, on Weebly, on WordPress, and you can change your mind at any point in time and point it somewhere else. That's how a URL works. You own that, right? So yes, we host the software for you. But the point is that, like, let's say that you have 1,000 people coming to your website a month, okay? Because you own that deed, because you own that URL, if you were to change your mind at any point in time, and let's say you hosted with us and you didn't like what you had and you were going to leave and you're going to go somewhere else, you're going to go to WordPress, you would point that domain from our site to your WordPress site, and you would still have 1,000 people a month coming in because you own it. You own the URL, you own the traffic, you get to own where it is. So
okay, I get that concept. I just don't get how you set it all up.
I know, it's magic. It's magic.
Because I have an offline Wix website where I have the name and.
Well, it's not offline; it's an online site if it's a website. But yeah, essentially.
Well, I have it worked. I just haven't put it online.
Got it. You have a dark
because
website.
it's not ready, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've heard that before. It's technical business for sure. We walk you through the whole thing. And the one thing I would say too is, we were good 2 years ago. Our support was really good. Our marketing support wasn't as good as it is now. Now we've gotten to a point where between the support, between the marketing advice and everything that we do, we're really good. And I don't have to say, take my word for it. If you go onto our Facebook page, there's a reviews tab, right? On the reviews tab, there'll be a whole bunch of names. I want you to focus in on the ones that are saying great tech support, and send them a message and ask them. Could be anyone on there. And the customers will tell you, like, you know what, my technical acumen is at a 2. I got this thing up in no time and I'm already selling. Like, we've got the chops now to get you, as long as you have some decent acumen. If you're already building that Weebly or Wix site, whatever you have, then you're going to be just fine. Better still, you're not going to have to focus on the nonsense. And I'm going to make sure someone calls you, I promise.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem. Sorry about the email pace. Okay, Maria, you're up again. You'll need to unmute.
Okay. Okay. I tried to sign up to the demo, and then it has that area where to put your website. Well, I don't have a website yet.
Yeah, that's
And
okay.
then
Just ignore that one.
okay, well, and then I pushed enter, and then it said, I forgot what it said. Something like, you've hit a page that doesn't exist, or something like that. So I do have a question. So that's the first thing. And I think Anne kind of covered what I was confused, or Catherine.
I think it was Catherine Ann, actually. Double threat.
Yeah.
Double threat.
There you go. I got part of it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that part is what she was, but the demo thing that she had mentioned. My fear is maybe your team isn't always up on things when you need questions answered. How big is your? I mean, how many? I mean,
27. I think there's 27 people on that staff.
Okay, so you have a pretty good staff.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you got that. You from Austin? Because I saw that 512.
Yeah,
prefix.
I mean the company was based in Austin, but now in the pandemic, it's company of the world.
Really?
Pretty much all of them, right?
But that's cool. So you guys originated in Austin.
Yeah, the company
originally.
did. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
actually
you can be
I'm in
anywhere,
Southern
'cause-
California. Had been the entire time, so I've been remote even before the pandemic. But when the pandemic hit, I think like a couple weeks into it, they closed the office, and everyone's been remote like all the rest of the world, and it's working. We actually have team members in the United States, Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, Kenya, New Zealand.
Yeah, that's cool.
All over the Baltics, and we might even have more than that. I haven't even checked in recently, so we got a real international vibe going on these days, which is cool. But it helps with the time zones too.
So basically, you kind of are our marketing team in a way, because you're going to show us some things, but basically, it's all going to your site anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're kind of the marketing experts, and we're just here to gather up or create or gather up the art.
It's sort of like you're going to go to college to learn how to grow an art business, and you're going to sign up, your tuition's going to be paid, and then the learning will never stop. You don't ever graduate. Right. There are no graduates until you aspirationally hit your goal of, what is it, $500,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $250,000 a year, 50, whatever it is, 75. And even then,
so then we can go run around and also get artists to get on our site. Or do you recommend that we buy it and then flip it? Because I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah, I mean, if you had an asset, you could certainly flip it, but that's a way downstream process. Yeah, because you're not building up a marketplace. I mean, you're building up mariabeamer.com, right? So, it's your baby.
All right, cool. Thank you.
I'll have April. Don't worry about putting in the demo. I'll have April. We already have your email. Somebody will email you about setting one up, and then you got a ton of extra questions. That's why we do the demo process, because everyone's got different questions, different speed, and it's like too hard to make it one size fits all. So you can request one, or you already don't even worry about it. April will take care of it. April, another to do. We have your email, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, April.
Yeah, that's no problem at all. Thanks, Fran. Okay, guys, any other questions when you're on here? Otherwise, Asmi's gonna treat us to another song on the way out, which, by the way, I'm coming to love. If you finally do sign up, Asmi, you're not going to come in these things anymore. I'm going to be extremely bummed about it. All right, I'm unmuting you. Asmi, play us out.
Okay, I really love Art Storefront, so I wrote an Art Storefront song.
I will take it.
We are Art Storefronts. We sell art, not lies. We are Art Storefronts. We put art into your life. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so good. They're the perfect length too. Asmi, you're the man. We should make an entire album of these, because I really like them. They're all like art inspired. Yeah, KV was giving you the hand clap. Love it. Love it. Thanks so much, everybody. We run another one of these on Friday. If you didn't feel like you got everything covered, what else? Going live all the time. So follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Anytime you see us live, you have a question, all you have to do is ask. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. was finally where my head's at.